This is WICR.
From the basement of La Penta, this is your host, The Rock is on DePala, on this Monday, February 22nd, 2016. On a warm Monday, February 22nd, 2016. Now, as we all know, this past weekend, the NBA, or the second half of the NBA season, has kicked off. And I just want to get into Kobe Bryant. Now, we know that and every NBA fan knows, unless you've been living under a rock, the past few months, that this is Kobe Bryant's last season, and he played his final game in Chicago at the United Center, in which the Lakers were defeated by the Bulls, and he's playing tonight in Milwaukee, his final game in Milwaukee against the Bucks. But I just there's well we got to get into but talking about Kobe or referring back to Kobe, you know, he's just such a competitor. He's definitely one of the most iconic players in this era, or in the last, say, 20 years, and maybe even one of the most iconic players in NBA history. But there's one thing that caught my attention, and that is, how will the NBA move on, or what would the NBA look like without Kobe Bryant? Now look, I know you're still gonna have LeBron James, you have the emergence of Stephen Curry, and then you have other, you know, all-star caliber players such as Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Anthony Davis, the Brow, who put up 59 yesterday against the Pistons. But the thing is, can the NBA find another Kobe Bryant? Or how will the NBA move on from Kobe Bryant? Because you can't, you have to give Kobe credit, because every night he would just play his heart out. He would he would sacrifice, lay it all on the line, put all his chips to the table, and give 110% every single night. And he wanted to he wanted to be the best, and he wanted to make an impression in front of everyone, whether if it was playing live in front of a crowd at our NBA arena, or on TV in the United States, or just even worldwide. But if how can the will the NBA have another Kobe Bryant? Possibly. Will there be another Kobe Bryant that goes to the NBA? Possibly. But players like Kobe, they're a once in a generation lifetime. You know, they don't come that very often. It's like a franchise quarterback in the NFL draft. Like, for example, say Andrew Luck. When the Colts had the number one overall pick, they had the option of either draft Luck or keep Peyton Manning. Now, who would you rather have? An aging Peyton Manning, who had at the time 3 neck surgeries in a span of, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, or a young quarterback with Andrew Luck? You got to go with Andrew Luck, because he's a once in a lifetime player, and that's what Kobe is, a once in a lifetime player. And whether you like him or not, you got at the end of the day, you just got to respect Kobe for what he did and what he accomplished, and the competitiveness. And you saw at the All-Star break, or the All-Star game in Toronto, that he got a stand. It was all about Kobe. He got all the standing ovations. Whether if you're a Laker fan or not, or even if you're not a fan of Kobe Bryant or not, at the end of the day, you applaud greatness, and you got to respect what the guy did throughout his career. Plus, you got to give him credit though, because he was one of the few players, right after Kevin Garnett, he was one of the few players that made the adjustment, or made the jump from high school to the NBA, which very few players, which we know at one point it was a trend, but not everyone does it anymore. It's kind of rare to see nowadays, unless they're overseas. But he made the jump from high school basketball to the NBA, skipping college. Now, I'm not a huge proponent of that, and because I feel like college, they prepare you for the NBA in terms of the it helps increase this it helps you can in a way can help you get acclimated to the pace, you know, in terms of the guys, the opponent's skill set and whatnot. And when Kobe first came into the NBA, a lot of people forget he struggled mightily. he struggled mightily at the professional level. You know, he was airballing threes. You know, he was shooting, I don't know, maybe 20% every game. You know, and he got a lot of criticism at the time saying, was this the right or was this the wise move to do for somebody at that age, 18 years old, 18, 19 years old, to make the jump to skip college and make the jump from high school to the NBA. You know, we saw KG went through the same thing. Kevin Garnett went through the same thing, but you know, they put the but with one thing what those guys have in common, Kevin Garnett and Kobe, is that they put the work in. And you know, and Kobe did. He absolutely did. He put the work in. You know, he busted his rear end from you know, he had like that motto where it's like, you know, first guy in, last guy out, stayed there all day, studied film, worked on his game, you know, and then as you know, as his level, how can I say, how his play, his skill set progressed, you know, he got a lot more he got better and you know got gained a lot more respect from other players or opposing players around the league, you know, and thus he demand and then as he got older he demanded that from his teammates, you know. He demanded that competitiveness, that fiery competitiveness of laying it all out there, just in, you know, and not giving up on any play, diving for every loose ball, you know, wanting to be in a pressured situation, trying to take that game-winning shot, have all eyes on you. That was Kobe Bryant. That was Kobe Bryant. Now, like I said, or like I preached, will the NBA ever have another Kobe Bryant? Maybe. Do I think they're gonna have it soon? I can't I can't answer. I can't answer because any guy, you know, could just emerge from a decent player, you know, to proverbial all star, or go from nowhere to proverbial all star, like maybe Porzingis. But you know, with the league, the way the league is now, it's all about, you know, with the superstars and all. I'm sure there could be a Kobe Bryant. Maybe who's currently playing the league? Could it be Stephen Curry? Who knows? You just don't know. And just let's not forget all the accomplishments that Kobe Bryant had. Like I said, you know, being a five-time NBA champion, um, you know, silencing his critics when he had when people were saying, "Oh, he couldn't win without Shaq," or Shaq, you know, led those Laker teams in the early 2000s, and then Kobe, you gotta give him credit though. You know, he led the Lakers to three consecutive NBA Finals on his own. It was his team, no Shaq, post Shaq era. You know, they lost to the Celtics in 2008. You know, and they avenged that defeat by coming back the next year, beating the Magic in five, and then getting revenge on the Celtics in the year after, defeating them in the 7 game series. Also, you got to remember with Kobe Bryant, the night he scored 81 points against the Raptors. You know, second most points scored in a game in NBA history, only behind Wilt Chamberlain of the 76ers, who did it against the Knicks back in 1952. No, excuse me, 1962. Did it back in Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points against the Knicks for the 76ers in 1962. But but like I said, you know, if you're an NBA fan out there, just appreciate it. Enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy watching Kobe play while it lasts. Because I don't think we're not going to see another player, another competitor like this for a very long, long, long time. And plus, you also got to keep in mind, you know, Kobe came up from the old school, or he was part of the old school basketball with hard nosed defense, where it's like you kind of had to throw a guy down. If you're playing defense, you kind of had to like throw a guy down, you know, just to get the foul called. You know, it's not like today's NBA where a little push or a little nub, it's gets called a foul, and you have all these tic tac calls. That wasn't Kobe wasn't like that. Kobe was not like that. This concludes our first segment of The Rock is On.